do you think that the talk to 2015 is too early? I mean, we're still 2 years away, 2 whole years. Don't you think that it takes away from the talk of governance and, you know, making sure that development gets to the people? Aren't we focused on power for the sake of power now?
Madam, I agree with you entirely. It's premature to exhaust all our energies and all our resources talking about 2015. But I did not start talking about 2015. The president who was supposed to have had the mandate 2011 was the president who decided to switch gear and concentrate his energy and the energies of his entire government in preparing for 2015, which means that, I mean, generally, you assess a politician on the basis of promises he made. I don't remember President Goodluck having made the promise to concentrate 4 years all the energies of the government, all the energies of his party, and all the energies of the country by default in planning for the contest of 2015. I thought in politics, when you have a mandate, you concentrate all your energies on working on the mandate, on saying what you said you were going to do. Now, all we heard from 2011 to date were slogans. Slogans about restructuring the polity, restructuring this, restructuring that, hoping to do that, to do this, hoping to do that. Promises which are not being kept, and promises which, in fact, were being actually shunted aside the moment the government was in place, which was the time actually those promises ought to have been addressed. As far as I'm concerned, it is not the fault of those people who are talking about it. It is the fault of the president in failing to give the country any meaningful focus and concentrating of some abracadabra and using attack dogs to unleash these kind of unsavory characters on Nigerians who are concerned about what he is doing with the mandate he was given in 2011. So I agree with you entirely. What we are doing today and what we have been led to do by the president, the presidency and the party is counterproductive, is not in the interest of this country. And these are some of the people who are giving politics and politicians a very bad name. Because if in politics you can come into politics to lie about promises, fail to deliver, and insist that you have the right to win the next election, no matter how badly cooked it's going to be by the people you handpicked and appointed in INEC, you can see why the nation is moving nowhere.
Dr. Mohammed, I think that that last statement, maybe you meant to say he has a right to contest, not to win, because I think that is basically what is in contention here. But let's take a look at, the past years and how we came to this talk for 2015. In all fairness, can we say that that is the fault of the presidency? Because the president has always insisted that he would not be dragged into talks of 2015. It was right after he was sworn in. There have been questions in almost the year preceding, after his election, asking him if he will run in 2015. And right now we have a definite statement saying that he will only talk about 2015 or his ambitions in 2014. So if the president has tried to skirt around the topic or tried to avoid the topic so as to focus on governance, we've also heard him several times issue threats to his ministers and to even other people around him, saying that if I hear talks of 2015, they will be fired. Don't you think that this is more the fault of some other people around him rather than the president himself?
Madam, I have been in politics. I have been in power for well over 40 years now. And I come from a highly politicized environment in Kano, and I also come from a political home. Let me tell you, in politics, you can speak with your mouth, you can do what you call body language speech. Look, Obasanjo, to the best of my knowledge, who started unleashing this third-term disaster on Nigeria, physically and psychologically on Nigerians, to the best of my knowledge, had never come openly to say he was going to go for the third term. But everybody knew, his body language spoke about it, the amount of money which he was mobilizing and sending over to the likes of Senator Mantu and other people was there. And now we're having evidence from the likes of Rufai in his latest book, some of it, of course, self-serving, which indicated in no uncertain terms that Obasanjo was not only working for tenure elongation, in fact, he was determined beyond third term to be a president for life. Now you can use the same argument and say, Obasanjo never told anybody. In fact, he didn't want the third term. Now it's the same thing we have here. These people who are playing these games, including Jonathan Goodluck himself, learn their tricks from the book and the hymn sheets of Obasanjo. So if you're telling me that Obasanjo never wanted third term, then I will say, tell that to the Marines, because they can believe anything. I know of no Nigerian who will believe you that Obasanjo never wanted a third term. I know of nobody in this government who also will believe your story, your tale, that the current president does not want to go beyond 2015. And I know of nobody who believes the story that everything that is being done, it is not the president to blame. It is the people around him or around the presidency or around the PDP as a party. Please, madam, let's be a little bit more mature. I don't believe at 63 somebody can play games with my integrity or my sense of judgment. I'm older than the president, and apart from Bamanga Tukur, I know of nobody working for the president now who is older than me. So please stop this kind of
Dr. Mohammed,
this man is behind what is happening. The fact that he doesn't say it does not mean that he is not guilty.
Dr. Mohammed, what I'm trying to bring out is that is it not a case of you talk about it, you're damned. You don't talk about it, you're also damned. Isn't that how you say it?
No, madam. No, madam. You see, if it's not just a matter of talking about it, it is, I spoke about body language. It's not just a question of talking about it. It's a question of doing something about it. We know how contracts are being awarded. We know how oil blocks are being awarded. You know, I mean, we also know what's happening. They started planning for this huge war chest of money under different contracts, under different guises, and we also know those people who are benefiting from it. And we also know how elections are won, especially under the PDP, especially with the umpires being the PDP appointed INEC. Now, nobody who saw what happened in 2011 can tell me that somehow there is nothing sinister being planned. What are they doing with all the money? Let me give you an example, and you can check this with the National Assembly. Since PDP came to power, there was never a year when they implemented as much as 50% of the budget. Where has the money been going? And even when the money was being released, to whom was it being released? Last year, for example, the Minister of Finance arbitrarily and recklessly released only 24% of the budgeted money allocated to education in the budget of last year. Now we're going into another budget, and we have started as usual with the budget crisis between the National Assembly and the presidency. And this has been systematic from 1999 to date. You're telling me these people can be trusted. You're telling me that I can afford to buy a second-hand car from these people. Madam, let us be realistic about it. I understand you wanting to be a good journalist and to give a balanced weight and perhaps be a devil's advocate. Those of us who have been with them and who have been with others before them know that this is not what the interpretation, what they do is not the kind of interpretation that you give to their activities. And I rather in politics work with somebody's action than what he says, because by being they're disrespectful of what they have been, what they had committed to do, by refusing to abide by their promises, even though within their own party, they give no room for anybody to trust them, and I, for one, do not trust them.